I gave you a agenda, right?
It's like 3 jars up in my fridge. It's like, looks like syrup.
Put on your pancakes.
I mean, for you, sound you have to use it immediately.
Sandra, find out. You're right.
Every time I open up a new box, I have to I got wasps making a mess in my closing box. I got another one we got lights on.
Call it the bug lady.
Yeah.
Like open up the PC and I got like some sort of like caterpillars in the pockets. Oh my god, what's going on?
Big clock is off.
It's O2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I love it.
Oh, I'm not getting up there to fix it. So you guys got to do that.
Oh, okay.
Ready when you are.
Alrighty. Today, November 4th, 2025, Tuesday, it's about 10:02, 10:03, and we're gonna call the Stormwater Advisory Board meeting to order. Roll call, Commissioner Tom.
Here.
Mario.
Here.
Frank.
Here.
Larry. Here. Lito, and Steve has excused absence. Approval of the minutes of our last meeting we had. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there, well, someone else want to make a motion?
Second.
Second.
The only question I raise is the spelling of my last bit.
Well, then you gotta get this corrected.
I'm sorry.
I-L-L.
What's the correct spelling?
A-T-O. I-L-L. S-C-A-P-I-L-L-A-T-O.
I'm sorry. You know what? That is the way that it is on the official appointment list. So I will note that for next time.
Yeah, it was everything, it was just this one.
Okay.
Scapulato.
Okay. We'll move on now to public comments. Is there any public comments? Nothing? Okay, anyone? Nothing? All right. The permeable alley program, 3 have been completed, as we said last meeting. TCO grant funds, $1.5 million. The town received an additional $500,000 for green alley paving. The project is scheduled for construction. Now, we're working on another alley right now, but I think a lot of those other alleys are going to be turned over until next year in 2026. So we won't be able to squeeze them all in this year. 2026, the town has been awarded an MWRD Green Infrastructure Partnership Funds, about $475,000 for 3 permeable alleys, which is, thank you. MWRD Stormwater Partnership, has there been any news, if you know if anything what's going on? I know things are crazy with places shut, with the government shut down and everything, but any movement on the Kohler Park project?
Unfortunately, there hasn't been any. We've just been told to proceed as we're going to get the funds from FEMA, but as you said, we haven't had a response back from FEMA.
Yeah.
But as I said before, this isn't the only project.
No, I know.
You know, we've gotten nothing in any of them. So it's not just this project that's an issue. It's, I think, FEMA as a whole is having issues.
And that's totally understandable. And I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. I just wanted, because I didn't know, and I figure since we're here and I'm talking,
Oh,
I ask.
for sure, not a problem.
Thank you so much. And we also submitted applications for FEMA, more FEMA projects. It was submitted over a year ago, September 13th. So we'll wait on that and see. Hopefully FEMA will get up and moving again and can help Cisco and other communities with some extra funds.
Can I pop in real quick while you're on FEMA?
Yes, sir.
So the federal government denied the disaster declarations from the July and August storms of Illinois. The state and county and town are encouraging people to file an appeal. The state is looking for additional information for documented damages. There is a website available to upload that information to. The deadline is Friday, November 7th. It is on the Town of Cicero's Facebook, but the website is https://IEMA.AOHS.illinois.gov/recovery. We're encouraging people that did have damages during this year's flooding to visit that website and fill out as much information as they possibly can. The state is planning to file their appeal relatively quickly. With the government shutdown, I don't know how quick that is going to be, but obviously the more information that they can get uploaded to their database, the better position it is for the state to make a case for the emergency declaration to hopefully get FEMA funds released to bring relief to those people who were affected.
Yes, thank you.
I saw that on the Facebook page.
Yeah, it was last week.
And it was on the news again last night too, they were pushing people to start. So they want to appeal, it sounds like they were, we have some enough information to appeal the decision. You want to take over the disaster recovery funding, anything new, or just, we're still in?
We're still in what I'll call limbo with,
Yeah.
with the government being shut down. As I mentioned last meeting, the action plan is formally approved, but we do not have a signed grant agreement yet. We are moving forward as if the government was open. We're currently in the procurement stages for engineering services and construction management services and services for the housing program. Yeah, we're going through the motions as if everything is still up and running. Another update I just have is that the Morton Arboretum tree grant, the update I got today, I think 120 of the 150 trees are already planted. They're running a little bit behind schedule. They were supposed to have them all in the ground by Halloween.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a little bit of a trickle over effect. But by the end of this week, all 150 trees for the fall planting season will be planted. And we're currently getting addresses for the spring planting season. I think we have about, I checked last week, we have about 80 addresses that have requested trees already. So if you guys know anyone that wants a tree, or you guys want a tree, I already got you, Larry. I already got you. You're on the list.
I got my ginkgo yesterday.
They planted it yesterday? Good. They can contact my office at 708-656-8223, or they can send an email to amarquez, AMARQUEZ, @thetownofcicero.com. We just ask that you confirm that you're the owner of the property, and you'll confirm that you will, assist with the watering going forward. Our bid process has 4 waterings to be done by the contractor. One's being done in the fall, and then 3 more will be done in the spring. Obviously, trees get thirsty, just like we get thirsty, and if we have the homeowners pitch in and help with that process as well, you guarantee that tree's success.
This is a great time for planting because they're going dormant.
They're going dormant. There's less energy being spent on growth. I'm also very impressed with the contractor that's doing the planting. They're being staked. They're being properly mulched. Water bags are being installed on the tree to make it easier to keep up with the watering. Knock on wood, our success rate for these trees going in the ground will be greatly enhanced over our past practices.
Good thing. I was told too that if that tree should die, I have one more chance, possibly one more chance of a new tree after that on my own. So if you neglect that tree, you're gonna lose it.
Well, these trees, in our bid specs is a 1-year guarantee. So if the tree does die, please reach out and let me know, and we can get it replaced on the contractor's side. Another thing I just brought up at I don't know if it was the last board meeting or the board meeting before that. Part of the Morton Arboretum grant was to get certified arborists on staff. We're ahead of schedule. One of the Public Works employees has already passed their exam and is now a certified arborist. We were planning on that to happen sometime in 2026, but it already happened now, so that kudos to that employee that took it upon himself to bring his, expertise and knowledge and take the class and sit down and take the test, and we now have a certified arborist on staff. So
That's awesome.
great value for the residents of Cicero.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Anything else? That's it with that? Okay, the stormwater master plan is complete. I spoke to Tim, and they should be sending it off to MWRD for review now. And then after your review, we'll be sending it to the town of Cicero's board approval.
Okay, great.
We finished the phase one. It says 90%. We're much higher than that, and we still have a little bit left on the bidding from what was bid on the first round. And when we had the floods in August, we had the company go out and hit some of the blocks that we seen when we were out there that night and that morning that were hardest hit, and we had done the company backer out the basins and also jet the main lines on those blocks. So that's a positive. We'll be coming to the board in this early spring to try to get another bid out to go to phase two of the stormwater cleaning and televising.
That's the middle of the town?
Yeah, that one will be from Cermak Road, and we're thinking up to the railroad tracks, not Burlington, I think it's Canadian National. And then the following year, we'll do the round 3, and that'll be from the Canadian to Pershing, and from Laramie to Lombard. So that's how we're gonna go that route. People are still purchasing backflow preventers. Town's given out well over $2 million to residents since this has been adopted, and looking forward and can't wait to work with CDBG with the funds that we're getting, and working with them to get more flood controls installed in the town. We have an adoption for the 2026 meeting calendar. This year, no matter what goes on, we're gonna stick to it. I'm a little guilty too that we got off of it, and we're gonna stick to the first Tuesday, 10 a.m. If we have a lot to talk, we have a lot to talk about. If it's winter will be here, there won't be as much construction and stuff going on, so we might have a little less, but we can come up with some planning and other ideas in those early months when we're not discussing all the work that's been going on. So that's what we'll be doing. December will also be the first Tuesday, 10 a.m. here in the courtroom.
Thank you for that.
No, I'm sorry. That'll work better for everyone.
It was my fault.
Well, the first one,
No,
and then the second one was me, and then it's like, you just have a meeting, and then 2 weeks later, there's really not much different than the meeting prior, when it gets a little off with the weather, so.
I never said it was your fault. I says, we understand the June, July, because you had to meet about that grant. Not a fault.
But that's when it started, getting off the.
It became comfortable, let's
Yeah,
say.
that's when it became off the regular day, so it's my fault.
It's not your fault. We thank you for keeping up with that grant.
So all of 2026, just pencil in first Tuesday of the
First
month,
Tuesday.
10 a.m.
And we're just gonna go with the flow on those days.
Pun intended?
Oh, yeah. I wish. A mistake that all happened. Anyone on the board member, anyone have anything to add or say?
You know me not to?
I figured you did, because we missed your last one.
All right, back in September, Tom asked if there was a way we could inform the public about the need for backflow preventive maintenance, and I wrote up some little outline of points, and then Tom was good enough to edit it, add to it. So the only thing I worry about Tom's is that it's too congested, it's too much. And I know from the past, when I used to write policy and procedure for various maintenance things, that in the policy I try to be descriptive of the equipment and then go on to the procedure, and I found people don't pay any attention to that. just go to the procedure, step 1, 2, 3, you get a better outcome. And as far as all these listings of different items, they're distracting. And if it could be condensed, I would appreciate that, and we get it on the Cicero Facebook page or web page, it will help. But I do appreciate what you did.
So which ones do you want?
Well, everything looks great, and then when you go down to baby wipes, well, that's understood, and then fats, oils, grease, cooking, dental floss.
I wish I could say it's understood. It's not
Yeah,
understood.
I know it is. But I don't want to insult the public by saying, well, you know, here's exactly what you have to do. So to me, it's just a little too much. And usually when people, it's human nature, you look at something that's so detailed, you skip right by it.
I'll work on some.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you, everything you put here is so true with flushing down that you see, and I'm sure you can attest to it too, because when we actually are.
This chart, the chart is actually from MWRD's website.
Well, they took it from us.
No, we took,
Perhaps just include a reference to that site on there.
Yeah, because and a lot of families don't realize, oh, we'll just throw this down there and it's not gonna matter, but you got how many, two or three flats and single family houses, and everybody just says, we'll just dump one thing, and then the next thing you know, in the middle of your block, your sewer's clogged, because we don't have plastic sewers, we're an old community, and we all have, clay tile, or brick sewers and that, and it's not like all PVC where it just flows through, it adheres, and it just starts backing up.
I agree. And back to Tom's question about multiple sewer lines. The home I grew up in, the north side of Chicago, built in 1920 or something like that, had 2 sewer lines. One was a catch basin, which only took the laundry discharge and the lavatory sink discharge. Kitchen sink too, which would catch all the grease and the phosphates from the detergent and all that. And then that would run and join the waste disposal from the toilet system. So there were 2 drain lines back then. They stopped that sometime in the 70s, I think. So some of the older houses may well have that double drain lines or multiple drain lines.
Not to make this any longer, would merit that there are people that are thinking of doing the project to help with the water flow, that they should be aware to investigate that they have to. I mean, it's usually a simple step because you have the outside catch basin, usually.
Okay, in the house I grew up in, you put standpipes in the basement floor. So if our backflow did occur, standpipes were limited. The catch basin was probably 8 to 10 feet deep, so it would catch any backflow water itself, not back into the house. So yeah, you have to put a backflow preventer on the property. And if
Yeah, exactly. And we had the only reason I'm raising it is because we had a discussion.
I recall that, yeah,
Yeah.
your neighbor.
Yeah.
Under the pavement 3.
Yes.
That I don't know. Okay. But there is a possibility. And then, to move on, I had that final sheet next and talk about different data that I picked up from different sources, you know, United States Geographical Survey, U.S. Census, and MWRD press releases. And I have certain items that are listed. And on the back, I had a chart, an Excel spreadsheet, showing just how much water runs through Cicero. Cicero produces with 1 inch of rain after the ground saturation, produces a total of about 109 million gallons. Berwyn, 72 million, Oak Park, 86 million, Chicago's Austin neighborhood, 133 million, Chicago's 39th Street sewer, 170 million, totaling 463 million gallons of water from these neighboring municipalities flows through Cicero. It's 4 times as much water as Cicero makes. And I feel, as I close the first page, I say, on behalf of the 82,000 Cicero residents, we strongly welcome our good neighboring communities to sit down at the table and start a conversation with us. They can't tell us, oh, we gotta wait till your master plan is done. They gotta give us some attention, because they are a problem.
You put it, the numbers that way, when we keep saying as a municipality, we're at the low end just before it gets to the sanitary district, it is not a local issue, it's not just a Cicero issue, it is an area-wide issue. When you put it at the numbers to be seen,
Our neighbors produce 4 times as much as Cicero. And I asked Pedro last if there is a discharge charge for the town of Cicero, an outflow charge from our sewer system into MWRD. Is there such a charge?
I don't believe there is, and I did ask, I forwarded those documents you gave me to our local sewer school, to be more familiar with how the sewers operate. We're still kind of moving back into our downtown offices, I haven't gotten a formal response back, but talking to them, I think there's definitely flow coming in from the neighboring communities, that is correct. But there's also, just to keep in mind, there's also a conveyance issue. It's a conveyance and capacity issue. So our interceptor sewers are below the municipality sewers, and that's what would get to, let's say, the plant, right? When there would be a heavy rain event, the interceptors would start filling. Then our deep tunnel system would start filling, and then you're right. Then then everybody's sewers would start filling. But in that situation, I think that sort of rain event, the combined sewers in Cicero, because they're undersized and they're older, would already be backing up just because they couldn't convey the water fast enough to the other portions. They couldn't get the water, even if it was empty, he couldn't get to the deep tunnel fast enough. So you're correct, they are contributing, but it's also, there's multiple factors at play. There's also the undersized sewers. So just something to keep in mind.
so then if we upgraded all our sewers, we would be fine. You guys will be able to take all the conveyance, all the water when it gets to you then.
No, that's the thing,
Okay, that's why I just wanted everyone to know that.
Yes, yes.
Because I know it's a conveyance issue on both sides.
100%, yes. But it's both a conveyance and a capacity.
Yeah, and I mean, a 4-inch storm when everything's been dry forever is quite hard on everyone's side because there's no ground seepage or nothing.
Sure.
It's just flowing right off the top layer of the like the grass, like it's concrete.
Well, that's why here, with our plan for the disaster funds is multifaceted. One of the projects is to get stormwater out of the combined sewer system and store it underground until the sewer lines are opened up again. And two, identifying those areas where the town's sewers are identified as being severely undersized. And excavate those blocks, remove those old sewer lines and put in larger capacity pipes to try to attack this from multiple angles as opposed to just being tunnel vision. This is the only project we're going to do.
I agree, and I appreciate what the town is doing. It's a great job. But what are these other municipalities doing? I've read some of their plans and their promises. What are they achieving? That's the problem.
The unfortunate reality is funding. Had the town not got this $96 million, it would be in a planning document and probably sit on a shelf until funding became availability. I don't want to say it was a perfect storm to have another odd pun, but that flood from July of 2023 kind of sparked all these different things, got the town thinking about stormwater management, before we even got these funds available to us. Without other municipalities pitching in and helping, I will say from our end, Chicago has got a substantial amount of these disaster recovery dollars, and Cook County has gotten a substantial amount of these recovery dollars. And they have both sat at the table with us to try to coordinate our efforts as to not screwing over the town as being the last stop before the MWRD. So
We got $90-some million. They know where we're sitting.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just by chance and gratitude, they know where we're
Yeah.
standing.
Absolutely.
Does it start at 39th Street, back up, and then work north? Or does it, is it variable across Cicero where it backs up?
It's variable.
It's variable. You know, we have certain areas, certain blocks or something that we know where we want to attack, where we know there's an issue and everything.
So have you heard what, like they said, conveyance issue, that there's sewers that are undersized to get the water to their interceptors. Their interceptor may be empty, but so much water is hitting, you know, all at once in such a big time. It's like, I think one of the ways to think about it was said by the MWRD after the storm, it's like trying to drain a sink through a straw. So all this water is trying to get through a small pipe and it's just nowhere for it to go. Yes, if they're already at capacity at their plant before it's getting to deep tunnel, it's going to back up the rest of the town, but there are areas in the town that are backing up prior to.
Prior to the
Yeah.
actual.
And I know there was many years ago, there was a plan built out, I think over 20 years ago, and at the time, it was like almost $2 billion to redo our whole town sewer system. Now,
20 years ago.
realistically, we have problems without raising rates on a lot of different areas, like, I think it was like 7 or 8 years now, we've been eating Chicago's water rates over the last 20 years. We've been eating what they're at least 7 times, maybe 8, where they raise our water rates and we just eat them as a town. We don't pass them on to the residents, and we're still having issues where families can't keep up with their bills. Now, if we had to do like a lot of other municipalities with lead line replacements where they're hitting houses, single-family houses at $25 or $50 more a month. That's just a service fee for what's gonna be coming, and then where are we gonna charge for sewer fees also? Because if you have to redo a whole sewer system at over $2 billion, where is the money gonna come from?
Yeah.
So when we were working on different ideas, that's why our first thing was, when we were coming and hitting heads together, was let's start with a massive cleaning program so we can get what we have to be working at 100% of what we actually have, and we can, when we're videoing them, we'll find problems, and as the problems are broken, like a broken or collapsed sewer, we have time to start repairing them, and that's what we're starting on the north, and we're moving it south where the water's gonna go. And that's what we're trying to do now. That's why we're doing this big cleaning. Then we also, with the stormwater plan, you don't want to just decide, hey, this block floods, let's jump on 49th Avenue and 15th Street and let's put bigger sewers there. By doing that now, you might make 8 blocks all around that have more problems that never had a problem, and I'm just using that block as an example. It just popped into my head, that block. But that's why we did the master plan, so we could see where the money is best spent, that's gonna help everything, and not just try to help one block and hinder 8 more blocks.
Makes sense.
So that's part of the whole idea, was to do that, and then this just became like a crazy windfall, and hopefully the government opens up so we can start breaking ground on some projects right away next year, instead of having if this goes on and have to wait till the fall and not do as a big of a project or something.
The $2 billion that was indicated years ago, was that considering a separation
Separation of all. Yes.
Municipalities?
Well, no.
Cicero.
We were gonna put stormwater and combined sewers, separate them. And we were gonna add new sewers and everything. And they did a study, and it was over 20 years ago, the study was done, and it was well over $1 billion. And I mean, just now, seeing what the cost is with labor material has went through the roof in the last 2 years. So, I mean, there's, you know, with these tariffs coming in on a lot of the material and everything else, there's a lot of brass stuff. A lot of comes from overseas, so now we're, you know, everything's starting to trickle upwards.
You know, as far as your sewer cleaning and CCTV, I think you've made some great improvements and increased the flow capacity with that. You found several projects that needed repair.
Yeah, we've done a few repairs already, and we have a few more on. We're just trying to put how we're gonna do it.
There's progress there, thank you.
All right, any other things, any questions, any comments, anything else?
My only board member comment is I want to second Frank on the, all the information he provided to us. If the town or any information given to the town can be applied with a link, internet link, so the residents can review and have a better understanding how this all works. And communication is a must. It's a number one key element. That's it.
And to add to that, MWRD's backflow alerts for, can't remember the proper name of it, where they alert you about excessive storms coming. Everybody should be aware of that one too.
I know the town's been putting it out there like, you know, low water usage and everything like that. It really doesn't change, because in those days I've looked a couple times on our total daily water usage, and it really doesn't drop much.
You know?
But you figure we pump about almost 8 million gallons a day, sometimes over 9 million in the summer, hot summer months. But we sit pretty close to about 8 million a day pumping water. So that means that water has to go somewhere.
Well, as I say in that chart too, in line D, the wastewater within 24 hours, it shows how many millions of gallons of water are produced for wastewater. That could be reduced, it's a significant change. And green gardening too is part of MWRD's suggestions. There's a lot to be said there. Especially with the mulch on these new trees. So great. I do have one more thing. The MWRD will be having a sustainability session on the 13th of this month from 10 to 2. And I do have all the board members here listed as for attendance. They're on the attendance sheet. I don't know about Tom and legal, if you guys are registered for that.
I did not.
I didn't register. I just talked to Patty to help set it up.
Okay.
But I'll be there.
You can contact
I didn't know I was supposed to register.
Lisa Ford, should just put you on the list too. You could drop her an email.
Thank you.
What day was it?
The 13th.
It's a Thursday.
13th at 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock.
I'm not gonna.
It's a educational.
Are we going collectively or individually?
Collectively, individually, what it is, Jessica, what it is, they recognize city leaders who have made accomplishments in sustainability of floodwater management. And we offer the recognition of them as for different municipalities to share ideas. And I look forward to it myself. You want me to get you on the list?
I'm just, can we talk after this meeting?
Sure.
Perfect.
Is that the one you were talking to me about? I'm gonna have to try to make it better. Because you want me to introduce someone, right?
Yeah, they wanted to be the MC.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll move things around. Where's it at? Here, community center?
Community center. They have a couple of, a lot of people, 150, maybe more.
I know Patty said capacity is up to 400 people.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to have different suppliers, have little booths set up with information, you know, Morton Arboretum will be there, Arboretum will be there.
We did Tim Gary, the town engineer, Tom and I, we went to Chicago Botanic Gardens, and they had some booths set up. And they had one booth in particular that showed these massive cement water storage things that they put underground, like a basement, but all the way down. And they retain so much water, but with them, you can build above its buildings. And that one caught our eye right away. We were talking to the guy a lot. It was like, wow, I never, this is something amazing.
It is totally losing technology since 20 years, my God. Of course, inflation since 20 years, oh my God.
Just one last thing, talking about trees. I recently applied for a grant from American Bloom to plant trees around the BNSF railway. We know the Arboretum has shown us heat maps in the past, and one of their recommendations is to get transportation areas to increase our planting. We know the BNSF is not going to, actually they don't have we're not going to plant the tree in the middle of the railroad tracks. But if we could increase the tree canopy on 26th Street, on Ogden, on 31st Street, it's a step in the right direction. American Bloom has until December 31st to announce their award recipients, so I'm waiting.
I believe that also was put on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And again, I agree with you that perimeter on Ogden Avenue, although there are some trees there, it's
Not
really
enough.
wide open.
Yeah, not enough.
Great.
Okay, our next meeting is going to be December 2nd, it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. Anyone make a motion to adjourn?
So we'll
Second? Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, I heard you talking on that day.
Yeah, she asked me to say something.